Next, we're going to go over the squat technique. There's a number of important points here that I want everyone to catch. Starting point with the squats or any load-bearing exercise in which we're compressing the spine is that I want you guys to be able to brace, keep your core nice and tight throughout the entire range of motion. So really just trying to force a lot of tension through all these muscles by bearing down as if you're going to get hit in the stomach, okay? Now in terms of your squat stance or your width of stance, typically you're going to aim for about hip width to just outside shoulder width, okay? If we've been working together one-on-one, we will have already figured out what your ideal hip width is, or sorry, stance width is. If you've been doing this exercise on your own and you're training online, you'll have to do a little bit of experimentation to figure out what works best for you, okay? Now, as we do the movement, it's really important that we do our best to keep our back in a neutral position, okay? So I don't excessively want to arch this way, and I certainly do not want to round the back that way. Those are both potentially very dangerous positions, and we want to avoid those at all costs, okay? Next thing I want to do is make sure as I'm going down that my knees stay over top of my ankles. So essentially we're looking to try to stack the ankles underneath the knees, or rather stack the knees over top of the ankles here. That just makes for proper joint centration, and that's going to keep your knees healthy and help them last a lot longer. In terms of your setup, you want to make sure that the bar sits on your upper back muscles or lower back, depending on whether you're doing a high bar or a low bar squat. I'll demonstrate both here for you quickly. Main thing is, do not let the bar sit on your cervical vertebrae. It does not feel very good. I know that from experience. Finally, the last thing here, hopefully you'll be able to see it. I'm not sure if you'll catch it from this angle, but we're doing our best to keep a straight bar path as we go down. So if I'm tipping the bar too far forward, I'm putting a lot of pressure on the front of the foot. If the bar is coming backwards, then I'm probably going to fall backwards. Okay, so do your best to keep your back straight and to keep the bar path straight up and down. Now, it's also really important here, guys, that you don't excessively turn the feet outward, okay? I don't mind a bit of a slight external rotation, but if you turn your feet outward excessively, you have a much greater chance of those knees buckling inward and you potentially hurting or injuring the knee, which we definitely don't want. We want to make sure that we have an active foot, okay? So I'm actually kind of grabbing the ground with my feet as I do this, okay? Now, you didn't really see it here, you might have heard it, but I take a big deep breath and hold as I go down. I don't let go of that breath until I'm coming out of the hardest part of the motion, okay? That just means that I'm going to have more lumbar support in the hardest part of the movement. Okay, in terms of depth, if we can hit parallel, that's fantastic. If you're not capable of hitting parallel yet, then don't rush it, okay? Form is most important. Safety has to come first. Lastly, as I'm grabbing the bar, I want to make sure that I'm really pinching my shoulder blades together and creating a lot of activation, stiffness out of those upper back muscles. That's going to keep my back from caving in as I switch directions, okay? So I'm coming down nice and smooth. I'm going to hit that bottom part of the motion and drive back up. If I drop too fast, that weight's probably going to pull me forward. So make sure you control the descent. And whatever you do, don't go so deep that your back starts to round either, okay? So that last squat I did was more of a low bar squat. I'm going to do 2 reps high bar, which is just going to change my position a little bit. I'm going to do a couple reps after that low bar just so you can see the subtle variations, okay? Low bar means you're going to probably extend the hips out a little bit more. It's going to put a little bit more emphasis on the posterior chain, i.e. the hamstrings, glutes, and the spinal erectors. High bar squat's going to put a little bit more emphasis on the quads, and it's going to allow you to stay more upright. So typically a high bar squat is a better move for people that may have back problems, assuming that they're not doing a front squat, okay? So I'll do the high bar squat first. Okay, low bar next. And that's the squat.